Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. I'm looking forward to spending some time with my next guest, Morgan Rose. In 2009, while working together at America's Angel campaign, Morgan Rose was sexually assaulted by Bob Filner, the now retiring mayor of San Diego. And I wanted to get some insight on what was happening here and what has taken place. And I guess I need to use the language of alleged unless there was a conviction that was involved. I don't want to get in trouble with the FCC. So we'll say alleged sexual assault. But, this is a huge story. And to me, it's becoming pervasive among politicians today. And I begin to wonder how much of this has to do with the influence of the President of the United States in the 1990s being involved like he was in sexual affairs, denying it up and down, playing the role of a lawyer, demanding you define what exactly sex is, and it's just a very bizarre culture. In some ways, I kind of think, guys like the former mayor of San Diego, Filner, the former Congressman Weiner. In some ways, I almost think they're the logical results of a Bill Clinton in the 1990s. And so anyway, going to explore some of that and much more. Morgan, thanks for being with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So, first of all, tell us about what you were doing, in terms of where you were involved in even meeting Bob Filner in that position.
Well, I'm executive director of a national campaign, the America's Angel campaign, to prioritize the well-being of our children as our nation's highest priority. And that was the context that we were meeting in. And he had just told me that Michelle Obama was asking for a memo from me as to how the mission would address the escalating domestic violence in our military families. And within a few seconds, after telling me that, he got up and he came across to my side of the booth. We were sitting in a restaurant across the street from his congressional office. He pinned me into the booth and started insisting that I kiss him. And when I, of course, didn't and refused, he would move my face towards his, trying to kiss me, while I was negotiating to please go back to your side of the table. We're discussing something very critical to the future of our country. Please just let me out. Please, I want to go home now. And no matter what I asked, he just asked me to kiss him again. Finally, his phone rang, and he said it was important, and as a congressman, it could have been anyone. So he left. And what the real issue is that I want to discuss here is that it's not just our politicians. Because our families have been falling apart for 40, 50 years, we are now a narcissistic nation. And women are confronting this on all kinds of levels every day of their lives. And what has happened now, there are so many narcissistic men that we have to deal with, that women live in a different reality as far as their freedom is concerned than men do. Meaning, I'm not about to walk out of my front door at 10:30 at night by myself and go downtown. All of us women know that there's this sense of we have to really watch where we are and who we're with in order to protect ourselves. That is not the reality of most men.
Morgan?
You have the freedom to move about.
You have to forgive me, but we only have like 7 minutes. I have a lot of questions, and so I'll need your answers to be a little shorter. I apologize, but time is of the essence. But I think you're absolutely right, and I think that it's created a culture of this, and I'm curious to see what your thoughts were. Did you think, is there any possibility that Clinton's attitude towards sex and women kind of helped pave the way for this, or is that too much of a stretch? What's your thoughts about that?
Well, it could and it couldn't. That's not where my focus is, who was responsible for this, other than my life work, which is strengthening the family so we raise happy, healthy, whole, ethical children who will contribute to civil society, and we're failing on that. We're getting a major F on family these days, and until we start focusing on our foundation, we're going to keep creating these kinds of entitled men who feel entitled to preying on women and abusing and using us. That's my focus. That's why I wrote the book. is to really give women the tools to empower their lives, so you can tell before you give your heart away that you are looking at involving yourself with a narcissist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So tell me about your book. Kind of go into that a little bit.
Well, I come right out. My book title is On Becoming Not a Bimbo, The Smart Woman's Guide to Finding Her Prince Without Ever Kissing Another Frog. And I wrote it because I am, as a clinician, confronted with the pain in relationships on a daily basis. And there is a science to intimacy. We fall in love and we fall out of love in our brain. And when you understand how that connection happens, how that attachment happens, how our longing for emotional intimacy really can rule us and take us into places we don't want to really be, then you have some power around falling in love without being blind, but being really enlightened about what you're choosing for your life. And that's why I wrote the book, because we have the information. The neuroscience has given us the information about how the brain falls in love, and that's what my book's about.
Okay, that's interesting. And the reality is that people kind of fall in and out of love, don't they? And that's why they need to have more than just their heart involved in this stuff.
Oh, right. I really encourage women and men to keep their heart guarded and just use their head until they have proven this person is worthy of them.
Yeah. Let me ask you, from a political perspective, because I know you met the congressman while he was in office, so I'm sure you're trying to get political organizations involved. Where do you get most of your support? Is it from conservative groups, liberal groups, or how does that work?
No, the campaign is set up to be apolitical. We have no agenda religiously, philosophically, or politically. It's about ensuring the well-being of America's children as our nation's highest priority, ensuring their birthright to be safe and nurtured in their own homes and homeland. And I took several months to write that mission statement to ensure that everyone would agree, that there would be no discussion, no debate about all of our other little philosophical differences, because we forget the children in all of that, and our children are hurting in this country, and there are millions and millions of them who are broken. And my question would be, how do we build a strong future on millions of broken children? And it goes back to the fact that about 40 or 50 years ago, our families started falling apart, and they have continued now, and our kids are letting us know this isn't working for them. The drug addiction, the suicide rate of our children, the teen pregnancies, and all of the social pathology going on in this country goes back to they didn't get what they needed in family. They didn't get the bonding. They didn't get the unconditional love, so they can grow up and contribute to civil society. Mm-hmm. And that's where we begin. It's not targeting the children. It's targeting parents and educators and politicians to shift what we value in this country. Okay. Right now, we value fame and fortune, the movie stars and the celebrities, and making the millions of dollars. And that we cannot sustain that. That's not what our country's about. Our country's about family. And that's the mission of the campaign, to refocus what we value to family.
Let me ask you, I got to wrap it up, so I need to please be brief, but are you taking any legal action on the former mayor?
No, very interesting question. Even if I wanted to, as a congressman, he was immune to me filing charges on assault and entrapment. Think about that.
That's bizarre. I need to learn more about that. That is bizarre.
Yes.
All right, Morgan, I appreciate you being with us. Morgan Rose. By the way, you can learn more about her organization, americasangel.org, americasangel.org. Morgan, thanks so much.
I'd like to say the book website is notabimbo.com, and they can buy the book through the website with keyword notabimbo at Amazon.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, when we come back, much more for you. I do want to remind you the best content here. It shows up over there at usdailyreview.com. And, of course, you're listening to The Price of Business.